tell you about grilling. What kind? We have charcoal grilling and we have gas grilling, propane. Charcoal is a little bit more nuanced. Well, I would say a lot a bit more nuanced. It gets you more involved. There's more prep time. Uh, I'd say it's a little more expensive. Uh, but it's a lot more rewarding. The food tastes better. There are lots of great smells. That's my favorite part is the smells and managing the fire and all that. Because when you start, you have to light the coals, make sure they're nice and hot, let them heat up for a while, and then you cook your food over it. Whereas with propane, you just kind of flick a switch and you know. But yeah, for me, I don't even have a propane grill out back. I have a charcoal grill and a smoker, an offset smoker. Um, yeah, and I love the charcoal, love the smell, love the flavor. It's all good. On the grill, most times when I use the grill, it's usually something very simple, uh, hot dogs, hamburgers. That's because I typically only grill whenever people are around, but there are times where I've made some pretty good stuff on the grill. I actually grabbed something. I have these cedar planks, and what you do with these is you grill salmon on them. So what you would do is you would have the fire burning down here. You would put the salmon on top, and what happens is the heat comes through the planks, and the flavor and the smells and all that from the cedar wood would come up into the salmon, and it enriches the flavor, enriches the smells, all that good stuff. And you still get the smoke, you still get the flame from the charcoal. It's so I've made some salmon on the grill, and it came out awesome. I made this homemade maple honey glaze to put on top of it, kind of tack it up a little bit. And on the side, I had my cast iron pan, and I made some garlic butter pasta, and that came out awesome. It was a great dinner that night. On a grill, I would have to say anything that you smoke. So grilling and smoking are kind of two different things, but the reward that comes from smoking a brisket, uh, smoking some ribs, that because you're babysitting that meat all day long. You don't just put ribs in a smoker and it's done in 30 minutes. You put ribs in a smoker and you're babysitting those things for 6, 7 hours. Oh yeah, that thing's going all day, absorbing smoke, absorbing flavor, sitting in moisture, all that. That's how you get those fall off the bone ribs. The longer it sits in that smoke, and obviously there's stages to it. It doesn't sit in the smoke for 7 hours. It will sit in the smoke for about 2 or 3 hours, and then you wrap it in foil with some butter, with some brown sugar, honey, whatever you want to put on there, and you wrap that up, and then it sits in there and it stays warm and it absorbs moisture and it gets nice and the meat separates from the bone. So good. And brisket is a lot more rewarding than ribs because ribs you can kind of just you can trim the fat, trim the panel off the back, put it on the rack and let it smoke. But with brisket, there's carving the fat, making sure your fats are the right thickness, making sure you got all the pieces that you want on your brisket. And also, brisket is very expensive. I think, I think for a brisket, it's where at my meat market, if I were to go, I think I could buy a brisket for $80. That's just one, yeah, and yep, just one brisket, $80. It's a big piece of meat, and very, very tender, very good. You get lots of cuts out of it. Um, yeah, I would definitely say the most rewarding and difficult, especially if you have like a very basic run of the mill smoker like I do. Because there are various types of smokers too, uh, based on orientation or based on what are you fueling your fire with. Because you have pellet smokers, which I would say are the easiest. You just turn them on and it controls itself. But my smoker is a wood fire smoker, so I would have to maintain a fire out of wood for 7 hours. So there's that added layer of difficulty. But while you're smoking that meat, all the smoke from that wood, because I have mahogany and maple wood in my box right now. So all the smoke coming from that would enter into the meat. You get a nice ring in your meat of smoke, and it's absorbed flavor. It's so good. The most rewarding, easiest thing to make. Uh hmm. I feel like it could be breakfast. Uh, I feel like it's a very unpopular thing to make on a grill is breakfast, but I've done it many times and love it every time. And it could be anything from like bringing a cast iron pan and cooking your eggs on the grill the exact same way you would make it on a stove, just right there on your grill. I've cooked sausage and bacon and all that on the grill, and it's very simple and it tastes good. Oh yes, very much. Vegetables come great on the grill, especially if you're the kind of guy that loves that loves mixing the vegetables with your meat, like onions and peppers and those kind of things. Because you can buy metal mesh bags to put vegetables in and cook them right there. I just like to use the cast iron pan. I use cast iron pans on my grill all the time. So I'll just cook my vegetables right on there, and they put the meat in with that. Uh, like I said earlier, I do fish on there. That comes out pretty good. Like, all kinds of seafood come out well. You do like shrimp kebabs. You put a skewer and a bunch of shrimp, throw that on the grill. That's fantastic. Like kebabs in general, with whether you got various vegetables, tomatoes, cheeses, all that right there on the grill comes out awesome. Yeah, you can put anything on there. Whatever you could put on a stove, you can put on a grill. Uh my taste for food isn't very niche. I would say a lot of people like the same things that I like. Because yeah, I'm pretty basic when it comes to my meats. Like if I am gonna throw on my grill, there's a very good possibility burgers are going on it, and everyone loves burgers. So that's typically how that goes. I would say yeah, a lot of people like the same things I would throw on there. Oh yeah. Yeah, because sometimes I'll grill up, and people around the neighborhood, they'll come by, they'll smell, and they'll stop by and say that smells really good, man. I'm like, hey, you want one? They're like, no, I'm all set. Or they'll end up walking away with a hot dog or some kielbasa, some sausage, whatever it is. Oh yeah. Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't grilled in a little while, but everyone always wonders what I'm cooking. Because when I got my grill, I was on it all the time. Every other day, I was out there grilling some stuff up, and people would come out, smell the food, and just tell me how great it is. And ever since I've started grilling around here, I've noticed a lot more grills showing up outside, and so I feel like I've inspired people to buy some grills and start cooking. And something about making food outdoors just feels so much better to me personally, because you have the fresh air, you have everyone seeing it, everyone's involved, people are walking by talking to you. I live in a very dense neighborhood, so there's lots of people everywhere. Oh yeah. Mm. Oh yeah, for sure. Um, you should try it. Everybody who has everybody who has thought about grilling and has never done it should do it. It's very fun, and I'm not one of those like snobs who's saying, "Oh, you have to charcoal grill." However, you want to do it. You want to go out there and buy yourself a little propane grill, charcoal grill. If you want to get one of those electric George Foremans, go ahead. Just go outside, plug it in, gas it up, put some charcoal on it, however it is, and make yourself some meat outdoors because it's a good time. You can get people involved. Uh, they can bring their own food to throw on there. It's always great. You know, the outdoors has much more space than probably what's in your kitchen, and you know you got nice fresh air. You can hear the animals singing their song, and just a good time. My message to anyone who hasn't grilled, I would definitely say they should try it. Alrighty.